All righty, we are back here live from the concourse here at the Hive with the Sarnia Sting, and look what I found! Woohoo! I can't believe it. Our first few games, we had to do it remotely. And we still got the mask, but
it's all good.
I'm hearing that might change. After Premier Ford's talk today.
Oh,
never know. But
I can't say I'm a big fan of the mask, but I get why we're doing it.
Yeah,
I totally do. So,
100%.
If it's a matter of keeping people safe, brother, I am in.
100%. I'm with you, and we're here enjoying a hockey game with the Sarnia Sting. It feels so good to be back.
Oh, my goodness,
after the longest 2 weeks ever.
Yes.
But we're here, and we're against the Guelph Storm right now. And interestingly enough, a score – whoops, I'm doing the wrong thing here. A score of 0-0 right now.
Yeah.
But they are out shooting us twice as much, I will say, 16.
That's by virtue of the fact that we've got Ashton Thornton in. He's our Calgary draft pick, and he's already signed, and I think he's really showing his true colors. I think he's doing a great job.
He has already demonstrated there more than once, but one time in particular, he was that rubber band. He was here, he was there, he was everywhere he needed to be.
He's a big boy and very quick.
He was ahead of that puck, and that was just incredible to watch.
Yep.
I have to say, it's Halloween, right? So, Jason lives.
Yeah.
I wish I could get the camera on this guy.
Totally does.
They had the camera on him during the game, and he just sat there and stared at the camera. He's totally in character.
Nice.
And the little...
That's awesome.
Well, I couldn't... I put an orange shirt on.
Good for you.
Is that make me a pumpkin or something like that?
I got my Fortnite jersey on that I got a couple years ago.
Playing that?
It's awesome.
For kids, eh?
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, let's talk hockey. We're getting carried away because we're glad to be talking here again. So, interesting, though, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, though, we look at the Guelph Storm. There isn't an overage player on that team. They're a very young team. That being said, I would say they were dominating for the most part of this first period against our Sarnia Sting. Don't get me wrong, the Sting are playing hard, but it seemed like for the first half of that period anyway.
Well, and I agree, Dave, but I think, what we're seeing right now is Guelph plays a fairly aggressive style of hockey. They're double teaming guys. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, a lot of that persistent play, and I think the Sting, they really haven't gelled together 100% as a team yet, and so we're not seeing that same style of play, and we're not seeing the finesse that I think that we want to see in those circumstances to combat that. There's a couple of different ways you can go against an aggressive team. You either outplay them or you out-aggress them, I guess is the case, but we're definitely a little short on aggression, I think, at the moment.
We have seen some of it out there, though. We saw one fight out there already. That was Reeser, right?
There could have been 2 or 3 of them out there.
Right.
Guelph has been picking on our goalies something terrible. It's, again, that persistent play. As long as the refs aren't blowing the whistle and they're not doing their job, then Guelph is going to continue to play till that whistle goes. And if that means that they got to get a stick in and start digging out under the pads of our goaltender, they're doing that.
Right.
Well, that never goes over well. I don't know how much. I've never played a lot of hockey, but I've seen a lot of hockey. And I'm telling you that if they're picking on your goalie, that's a non-starter.
But what I heard,
they give him a fistful of knuckles, and that's what happened.
Well, because what I'm hearing in there, too, is not enough whistle.
Well, I think, it's hard to say. I want to be careful what I say here,
it's
Dave.
Easy for us to say.
Yeah, well, 100%. I don't think that it's 100% balanced in terms of calls. And the stuff that they're calling, they should be calling that retaliation stuff. And I get that, and that's where we're getting the most dinged. But if they were on top of, some of that aggressive play where there's a lot of jersey grabbing and stick holding and burying and smothering guys and stuff. Like it's that aggressive style of hockey, and the referees have not done. I don't think they've done enough really to keep that cool. I would expect in the second and third periods we're going to see probably more of the same, and I think you're going to see a few outbursts because I think we have some young Sting players that are just not going to know how to react to that, and they're going to get a little frustrated. And then you got some seasoned players like Ashton Reeser that are going to take matters into their own hands and
we saw that, right?
in frustration, and then we're going to get penalized for that.
Right.
And
Except that
it's hard to play from a penalty box.
After last week's loss to the London Knights, I mean, we saw them come out into the third period and played super hard. We had a post-game press conference after they lost to London in the overtime. And the message was with the interview, Ty Voigt and Nolan Burke were supposed to learn the lesson as it was sold. Like Alan Letang earlier that day last week had said, you guys need to learn some lessons here from the previous loss to the Kitchener Rangers, right? Do you think they've learned any of those lessons? Are they going to pay? And Nolan Burke said it, we got to play 60 minutes of hockey, which is I think that's, as soon as you tie your skates, you should know that.
Yeah, well, I would think that that's the case. And you know what? I'm not going to accuse the Sting of not playing 60 minutes of hockey. I mean, they've been doing that. It's been fairly balanced first, second, and third periods, which is a little better than we've seen in some previous seasons. So I wouldn't say that that's necessarily the case. I think we have some mismatch stuff going on. I think, they're still trying to just figure out, who's going to work well with who, what defensive lineups are going to make the most sense and that kind of thing. And I think we're still in that figuring it out period. And until that really happens, Dave, I don't, I'm not sure
we can say the figuring
how much
it out,
they're learning.
The figuring it out period, but how long is that period? I mean, you can't waste too much time.
That's a great question.
Out, right?
I want the figuring out period to be over today.
Yeah, right?
Because frankly, if they put me in that locker room, I'd give them what for right now.
Would you? I bet you would.
100%.
I'm going to send them this video just so you know. Some of the Sting players do actually watch, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, no, that's great. I hope they do.
There is a lot for this team to learn. We're kind of a young team as well. With
this is true.
We have like 10 rookies on our team right now.
But I mean, everybody has a young team.
Well,
I mean, 2 years of COVID and the OHL being down. We missed a year of some pretty decent OAs that really could have led our guys around. So let's not kid ourselves. The guys who are playing their OA year right now, these are guys that have missed a year of hockey.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been OAs last year. They would have still had a little bit of seasoning to get from some of the older players. And I'm not sure how much they have to pass on to the next guy.
Yeah.
So you're right. We have a young team. And, I think we're struggling with that year off of trying to sort of get back into that, having a balance of experienced players who really know the OHL inside and out. They know the other teams. They know the other players. They know how each team plays, their styles of hockey, and how to deal with that. With a good, healthy crop of young guys that are, probably a little headstrong, probably a little, whatever. They're just coming out and they're doing their thing. They're laying it down. It's hard to say how much they're learning, but, I hope they learn. I hope they figure it out, and I hope they figure it out soon.
Time will tell, I guess, as we get to that. We're seeing Stamkos, of course, former Sting alumni.
Yeah.
He made the announcement of the new captain, Braden Guy, which I think most would agree was a great choice for this team.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, I think of all the guys that we had, I think Braden Guy's a good guy. I know I've heard lots of great stuff about him in the locker room in terms of actually being a real leader to the team, so I love that. I like it when you give, Stammer was a great leader for the team when he was here, and we've had some really good captains in the past that have, really kept that team gelling and keep that team, lifted and not let them get down into the, oh, crap, we're going to lose
well,
again.
I think the most would agree with that. It's obvious in the locker room. Would you agree that we're seeing the leadership from him on the ice as well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think for sure, Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Rise United is the theme here with the Sarnia Sting, and Rising United, well, Jay Peckham's back, so who wouldn't want to rise United with that?
Absolutely. I'm with them. Just put me in the locker room.
We're ready to get back out here on the ice. Now, I have to tell you, in all fairness, Jay, without you here, I've been saying at the end, as my friend Jay would say, go Sting, go. But I just do just go Sting, go. But nobody, I said it last pre-game, I said nobody does it like Jay Peckham. So get ready for it, folks. It's his signature closing line. I'm David Burrows. We'll see you next period. We'll have a special interview from Noel's gift. And on behalf of myself and my friend Jay Peckham.
Go Sting, go!
All right, we'll talk to you soon.